Wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to build your own website from scratch and instead you had a professional web designer build one for you and customize it exactly the way you want? What's up guys, my name is Levi with Create a Pro Website, and in this video, I'm gonna be giving you this professional website for free. All you have to do is swap the images, the text, and the colors to fit your brand or company. That's it. I'm literally just giving you the keys to your brand new car. Plus, I'm gonna show you how you can easily customize it to your liking using a free page builder, and I'm even gonna show you how you can get your own free stock photos. Whether you're a complete beginner or already have some experience, this template is gonna save you a ton of time. By the end of this video, you'll have a fully functioning, professional looking website up and running for the world to see. Now, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Let's jump into the tutorial with step number 1, getting your domain name and hosting. A domain name is just the address to your website. It's what people will enter into the search bar when they're looking for your site. So something like yourwebsite.com. And web hosting is just renting space on a server somewhere that's connected to the internet so that your website is actually online. If you want to own your own website and have a custom domain name for it, then you have to purchase your own web hosting, which I'm going to show you how to do in this video. And I'm going to give you a massive discount for it. And some of you are going to ask, what about a free website? And my answer for you is simple. Yes, you can get a free website, but it comes with a lot of limitations that you should know about. You don't actually own the domain name because it's free. It will probably be something like yourwebsite.wix.com or squarespace.com, or it could just be a random string of numbers and letters that you don't even get to choose. And there's also other limitations. You can't upload new themes or plugins to your website, and you can't monetize it with ads in order to make money from it. Your website could also be deleted at any time because you don't technically own it. So for these reasons, I recommend web hosting because it places you in control. Now, I have a special discount that I can share with you to save you 78% off of your first year of hosting and get a free domain name just by using the affiliate link down in the description. I do receive a commission when you use this link, but this is how we fund these free tutorials and are able to provide you a massive discount on your hosting plan, which can save you a lot of money in the long run. So, in order to get your free domain and hosting, just click on the very first link in the description, or you can go to createaprowebsite.com/hostinger, and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. All right, so from here, all we got to do is scroll on down, and you'll see the 3 different plans that we can do with Hostinger. And so I'm actually going to be going with their premium shared hosting plan right here for $299 per month, because you can have 100 websites under your account. You get 100 gigabytes of storage, unlimited bandwidth, a free domain name for 1 year, and a free SSL certificate. And of course, you also have the 24/7 support as well. So I'm going to select this one right here. Alrighty. And so now we get to choose a period. And so you can choose the 12-month, 24, or 48. I don't usually recommend the 1 month because then you're actually paying month to month and you're not getting the 78% discount over here. So I'm actually going to stick to the 12 months right here because as you can see, it's $11 a month, or you can get it for $2 a month. So it's kind of a big deal. So I'm going to stick to the 12-month plan right here and scroll on down. And this is the part where we get to create an account with Hostinger. So I'm just going to enter in my email here. All right, so now that I've got my email in here, I'm going to go ahead and choose select my payment method. And they take pretty much everything, as you can see, but I'm going to go ahead and enter in my credit card right here. And so you can see that we've got the premium shared hosting for 12 months, which you're paying for all 12 months up front. So it's $143 right here. And then we've got the SSL certificate activation for free, the domain name for free, the Cloud4 CDN for free, setup for free, everything, as well as the discount right here, which is really important. So I get 78% off if you guys are using the coupon code, which is right here, Create a Pro Website. Now, if you clicked on the link in the description, it will automatically input this for you. But if for some reason it's not here, just make sure that the coupon code says Create a Pro Website. And that's what's going to take it from $143 all the way down to $32. So I just took off $111 right here. So now all you got to pay is $32. I think that's a pretty sweet deal, especially for their premium plan and not the most basic one. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and enter in my credit card information here, and I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, and so now that we've purchased our hosting, we can go ahead and click on Start Now right here. It's going to try and ask you a couple questions like who are you building the website for and stuff like that, but I'm just going to click on Skip at the bottom of the page here. And now we can select a platform. So in the process of purchasing our hosting and domain, we can automatically have WordPress downloading in the background. And so WordPress is the CMS or the content management system that we're going to be using to build the entire website. And it's also completely free, so don't worry. So we're going to be using this one right here. The WooCommerce option is actually in case you want to include a built-in store in your website while you're doing this. So you could kind of download this extra plugin while you're doing it. But I'm just going to say WordPress right here. And then now we have to create an account with WordPress. And so it'll just pull the same email that you're using for your Hostinger account. And now we just have to enter in our own password. And so I'm going to enter in mine right now. And then I'm going to click on continue right here. Now, before I click on continue, just keep in mind that this is a very important step right here. This email and password is actually what you're going to use to log into your website every single time that you want to make changes to it. So just make sure you keep it in mind, or you could write it down if you have to. Okay, so now it's going to ask if you want to download any kind of a theme automatically so that when you get in, you can already start building your website. But I'm going to show you guys how to do all of this really fast, so we're just going to go ahead and skip it right here. All right, so now we get to select our domain name. But if you guys remember earlier, when we were purchasing our hosting, part of the deal using that coupon code gives you the free domain name here. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on select right here to claim my free domain name. Now here it renews at $13.99 per year, but you do get the first year free. So let's go ahead and try out some right now. I'm gonna go ahead and type in Marcus Oliver, SEO, because I'm building a website for someone named Marcus Oliver, and he does SEO, which is search engine optimization. And then also over here, you can choose between a .net, a .com, .online, or anything else. I personally recommend a .com because it's the most popular or the most common that people look for when they're looking for a website, and it's also the most professional looking. So that's my recommendation for you guys. And you can click on search to see if it's available. And it looks like it is available, so we're good to go. I'm gonna click on continue right here. All right, so all we have to do is finish setting up. And so you can see that the domain name that we have is marcusoliverseo.com, so it's good to go. So I'm gonna click on finish setup. Alrighty, so now we can click on finish registration right here. So now Hostinger is just gonna take a moment to prepare everything and put our website together. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. All right, and now it says that our website is ready, so we're good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and click on Manage WordPress right here. All right, so on a new tab, it's gonna throw you into your Hostinger H panel, which is kind of like the back end of your website. This is where you can set everything up and manage all of your settings and stuff like that. One thing that we're gonna wanna do is set up your SSL certificate, and it's really easy. All you have to do is click on Setup, and it's gonna ask, do you wanna take the SSL and put it onto this domain name, which is marcusoliverseo.com. It's the one we just did. And so you'll say, yes, install. And that's all you gotta do. Now in the background, your SSL is being installed. And remember, we got that for free. Now, just a heads up, the SSL certificate basically is the encryption and security for your website. It's what gives you this little lock symbol up here in the top corner that says your connection is secure. If you don't have an SSL certificate, it would show not secure right here, which makes anyone want to leave your website. So it's really important to try and find a hosting provider like Hostinger that gives you an SSL certificate for free. All right, so while our SSL certificate is downloading in the background, we can go ahead and move on to step number 2, which is to open WordPress. And to open WordPress, all we gotta do is go over here to the right-hand side and click on Edit Website. And here we are. It's gonna automatically redirect you to your WordPress dashboard. Simple as that. Now, if for some reason you weren't taken to a page that looks like this, and you were taken to a page that says something like your connection is not secure or anything else, that probably just means that your site needs to propagate first. And what that means, it's perfectly normal, is that Hostinger has to take the domain name that you just registered and send it to every single server in the world to let everyone know that it's purchased and live and ready to go. And so this process can sometimes take a few minutes, up to an hour, or sometimes even up to an entire day. So if for some reason you're not taken to the WordPress dashboard when you click on Edit Website, just give it some time, keep refreshing the page until you see this page. It's perfectly normal, so don't freak out. All right, and now that we're on the WordPress dashboard, we can go ahead and move straight on to step number 3, which is to import my complete website. So in order to do that, we're gonna go over here to a plugin that's automatically installed using Hostinger, by the way, which is a cool feature. Automatically installed, and it's called All-in-One WP Migration, which is a all-in-one migration for basically the entire website. You're basically going to get a duplicate of the entire thing. You're going to get all the images, all of the text, the entire site, all the files, everything. So it's a really cool thing that we're going to do here. So we're going to be clicking here and clicking on import. Now, before I do, just in case some of y'all don't have all-in-one WP migration installed, it's really easy to do. Which you should, but all you have to do is go over to plugins right here and then click on add new, which I'm going to open up on a new tab. And I'm actually going to close out of my Hostinger H panel because you don't really need it anymore. And so now it's going to ask to log into the website again, so I'll go ahead and do it. Okay, so after you click on Add New, you'll see this right here, and this is basically like the App Store on your smartphone, but it's called the Plugins, I guess, store, if you want to call it that. Basically, a plugin is just like an app on your smartphone. When you download it, it allows you to do additional functionality on your website. We're going to be searching for one called All-in-One, and then you'll see right here, All-in-One WP Migration, which is already installed and active, so I can't really click this button right here, but it would normally say Install Now, and then you click on it, and then say Activate. So that's how you download the All-in-One WP Migration plugin, but because it's already here, we're just going to click on Import right there. All right, and so now what you're going to do is go down into the description of this video, and you'll see the file that's called Create a Pro Website Homepage Template. And so you're going to click on it and download it. And so now we're going to click on Import From and say File. It's going to ask you where you want to import it from, and so here it is, Create a Pro Website Homepage Template right there, and click on Open. And just like that, it's going to automatically import entirely. It's going to ask you one pop-up in just a little bit, so I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, so now it's going to ask right here, the import process will overwrite your website, including database, media, plugins, and themes, basically saying that when I say proceed, it's going to completely change my dashboard because it's importing an entire copy of the website that I built for you guys. So you want to say yes, proceed, and then I'll see you guys in a moment when the site is imported. All right, so now it says your site has been imported successfully. So let's go ahead and check it out. I'm going to click on Finish right here, and we are good to go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on Dashboard again just to refresh the page, and it's going to ask me to log in again because you are literally downloading an exact replica of the website, including the login and password. So I made it easy for you guys. All you guys got to do is type in admin, and then type in password. Just like this. Here, let me show you guys. So password right here, click on login just like this. All right, so now it's going to say you might want to change your password because password is not a good password, but we're going to click OK because we're going to do that right now. And in order to do that, we'll go ahead and move on to step number 4, which is to create your own admin account. So I'm going to go over here to the left-hand side and go to users right here and just click on all users. All right, so now you can see that admin is the user that I created. And if you want to leave the username as admin, you can do that and just click on edit right here. And then you can change your password. So say set a new password and then change it and say update the profile right down here in the bottom left. But if you don't want it to be admin and you want to actually use the same login that you used when we were getting our domain and hosting, then all you have to do is create a new one. So let's say add new, and then you can update your username. So create a new one. So I'm going to say my username is going to be Levi because that's my name. But you guys can create whatever username you want. And then we're going to create a password here, just like this. All right. And then the last thing you want to do, which is the most important, is change your role to administrator because you're creating another administrator account. And then also an email is required. So just make sure you enter in the email that you created. So there it is. And we'll say add new user. All right. So now I have created my new account, and that's Levi, and I am an administrator. And so now what I can do is go ahead and delete the one that comes with the website that I gave you guys. So the way we do that is we have to log in as Levi. So let's go ahead and log out as admin. And then we're going to log in as the new one, which is mine. Okay, perfect. So now you can see right up here in the top corner that I'm logged in as my new username, which is Levi, and I'm still an admin. So now I can go over here to users and say all users. And I can take admin, and you'll see that now delete is available. So I'm just going to click on delete. And it's going to ask, do you want to delete all of admin's content? Make sure you don't say yes to that. We want to basically click on this box right here, which says, give all of the content to Levi, which is the new user, or whatever username you just created. And then click on confirm. Okay, and now you have your own account. So you're the only admin on your website, and you're ready to go. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to go back to the dashboard because I always like to have a dashboard open and ready to go. And then if you want to see your website, you'll go up here to the top left corner and you'll click on it, but I'm going to go ahead and open it up on a new tab. All right, and then here's your website. So we've got Marcus Oliver right here, and it's Marketing and SEO Best Trends with Marcus Oliver. And so we've got these cool motion effects in here. So as I scroll through the website, everything slides into place. So this is the About section. We've got the Services section right here. And so these are the different services that he provides. And then we can scroll on down a little bit more, and we've got these testimonials here. And so I'm going to show you guys how to change all of this, so don't worry. We'll scroll on down a little bit farther, and we've got some statistics as well as a call to action. So contact me right here. We'll scroll on down a little bit further, and then we've got the contact section right here. And so they've got all of the different contact information for you, as well as all of your social media. And then they can fill out the contact form here. And then down below that, we've got this cool map that fades from black and white to color as you hover over it. And it's completely interactable. So they can click on it, drag, and then they can zoom in if they want to, zoom out. And so this will show them exactly the location that you are. And I'll show you guys how to set this to your location as well. So this is the awesome website that we're going to be customizing to be completely yours. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and move on to step number 5, which is to customize your website. So in order to do that, we're going to go up to the top ribbon up here and click on Edit with Elementor. Now, Elementor is that super easy to use drag and drop page builder that I mentioned earlier in the video. All right, so welcome to Elementor. We're going to go ahead and close out of this navigator right here because most of the time I don't even use it. All right, guys, so over here on the left-hand side is the menu with all of the widgets that we're going to be using to edit our website. And you'll notice a few of them are pretty self-explanatory, like we've got an image right here, video, buttons, text. Actually, these top 6 right here are the 6 widgets that usually make up most of a website. If we're looking at my homepage right here, we've got right here, this is a heading, so there's your heading right there. This is a background image. We've got some social icons, another heading. Let's scroll through here again. This right here is a button, but it's actually a heading that's got a link to it. But you can see that most of it is just going to be text and images, and then a couple buttons as well. And so that's usually why you're going to use the top 6. But we also have a whole bunch of other stuff like the Google Maps that's at the bottom of the website and so on. So on the left-hand side is where the menu is going to be every time. Over here is the live preview of the website as we're building it. Let me go ahead and explain why these boxes keep popping up while I hover over things. So the way that Elementor works is we have a section, which is essentially the background. So the section is this blue area you can see that's wrapping all the way around my background image here. It stops at this gray area right here. And you can see that when I hover over this one, I've got another blue area that wraps around this. So this blue area is called a section. It's like the background. Now, inside of a section, we can have columns, and it's this gray dotted line right here. So you can tell that inside of my section, I've got one column. And then inside of my column, I can have multiple blue squares, which are my widgets, and that's everything that's over here on the left-hand side. So again, we've got a section, which is the background, columns, which you can have multiple columns, and then inside of those columns, you can place the widgets. So that's why these boxes keep appearing as I hover over different elements of the website, just like this. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you guys how to do is to change the background image. And in order to change the background image, you actually have to have an image to put there. So what I always do is I can go over to a new tab right over here, if you don't already have an image, and we can go to a website called unsplash.com. And so you guys can see it right up here in the top left, unsplash.com. And this is where you can use royalty-free images for your website. So these are a bunch of stock images, and you can use the search bar right here. So if I search for something like mountains, just like this, you'll see that I get a whole bunch of mountain images that I can use for my website. And then you have over here in the top right corner, you can choose between landscape or portrait if you're looking for something specific, or maybe a square. You can also choose colors. So if I want more black images, they're going to show me a lot of darker images. You can see that. So I'm going to put it back to any color and everything like that. So we can choose one of these images to put in the background of ours, but I'm going to go ahead and close out of that tab. I just wanted to show you guys where you can do it, because I am going to be entering in some images that I already got off camera. So in order to change the background image in Elementor, we can go over here to the 6 dots whenever we're hovering over the section, or we can just right-click inside of the section, not inside of the column, because if we right-click here, it'll say Edit Column. But if we're out here, it'll say Edit Section, or the 6 dots right here you'll see will also say Edit Section right there. So we'll click on this, and now we've got our menu on the left-hand side. We've got 3 different tabs here, the Layout tab, the Style tab, and the Advanced tab. So the Layout tab is, or the Content tab, it switches between Layout or Content, because if I'm on the heading, if I'm editing this one right here, you'll see that the new tab is Content, but it's always Style and Advanced. And so if I go back to the section, the Layout tab is basically layout. It's kind of self-explanatory. Style is stylizing your thing, so more like background, the color, borders, shapes, and stuff like that. And the Advanced tab is something we'll get into a little bit later, but we've got the margins and padding, which is what we usually use to move things around on the website. That's why the text is appearing down here in the bottom left corner, but we'll get back to that later. So we'll go over here to the Layout tab. So when we're editing the section, we're actually going to go to the Style tab right here, and you'll see that the image is under Background. If I close this up, you can see the different titles here, and so I can go to Background, and here's my image. I can delete it by clicking on the trash can, or I could just click on it, and then I can replace it. You'll see that if we go to the Media Library, because you guys used the file that was in the description, you already have all of the stock images that I found and used inside of your media library. Normally, if you had a brand new website, this would be empty because you have to upload files just like this, select files, and upload them from your computer. But because you guys downloaded the file from the description, you guys have everything already built in, so you're good to go. Now, whenever you want to upload files, you click right here and go select files. And then I'm going to go over here to my desktop, and I've got some images here that I found. And so let's go ahead and just upload all of them just like this. We'll just highlight them like this and click on open. And it's going to take a second to upload all my images, so I'll see you guys in a second. Awesome. Okay, and so the image that I'm going to use is this black and white mountain picture that I found, all of these, by the way, on Unsplash. So I found this one on Unsplash. I'm going to go ahead and click on Insert Media. Perfect. And by the way that I found that was I went over to unsplash.com on a new tab, because I want to keep my Elementor open, and I searched for mountains, just like this, and then I went to color and clicked on black and white right here. And when I did that, here's the picture, or I think it's this one, right? Yeah, here's the picture right here that I found. So just wanted to show you guys that that's where I find them. And so again, I think the black and white in the background of this website in particular looks really good, especially with the whole white and yellow right here, because I want his name to pop just like this. But you can of course use whatever image you want, because this is your website. So now I've changed the background image, but I can also change the position. So right now it's focused on the top center of the image, but I can also have it focus on the center. And you'll see that it kind of focuses more towards the center. Or I could say maybe I want the bottom center, and then it'll focus on the bottom center of the image. Or of course you guys can choose from whatever you want, but I think the top center or center looks pretty good. I think that looks awesome. All right, and then from here, we can also change the background overlay. So if we click on this tab, you'll see that background overlay opens up. And that's why it's so dark back here, because I already had an overlay. So you can click here on the color, and you'll see that right now it's set to black, way down here in the corner. Now, of course, you can choose whatever color you want. You can throw it over here and then drag this along, and you'll see that I'm changing the color back there. But I'm just going to keep it black because I think it looks more professional. And obviously, I want his name to pop. And then you can also change the opacity right here, just by dragging the slider. So this is completely transparent. So basically there's no black color over the image. That's the stock image. And then if I drag this, I'm adding black to the image until it's completely black. So you guys can play with this how you want, but I think somewhere around 60 or 80 looks pretty good because it's dark enough where the text really pops out. Okay, so that's how you can change the background image. Let's go ahead and also play around with the text right here. Oh, before I go, actually inside of the section, go to the layout tab. I wanted to show you guys that you can also change the minimum height of this section. So there's 3 different heights that you can choose, and of course you can also choose between full width or boxed. If I say boxed, it's going to squish everything into the middle. You can see that now the column is squished. So I'm going to put that to full width. But you can change, column gaps, the height, which is what we're going to play with right now, but you can change the column position, which right now it's set to the bottom. So you can see that my column is at the bottom, but I can also change it to middle, and it'll put my column in the middle, or I can change it to top, and it'll put it on top. Now I want it at the bottom. And then we can also change the height just by dragging this slider just like this. So you guys can choose how tall you want it. I thought around here looks pretty good, around the 70s or something like that. Again, you guys can play around with it however you want. Okay, so now that we have messed around with the background, let's go ahead and play with this heading text right here. So you can always right-click on it and then say edit whatever it is. So this is a dual color heading, obviously because there's 2 colors. Or you can click on the blue pencil icon right here, and it's going to open up the editing section on the menu. So both are same ways to get to the same place. So now we're editing the dual color heading. So you'll see that the first part and the second part are right here, or the first part and last part. The first part is basically what I want in white, and then the last part is what I want in yellow. Now it doesn't really matter because I can basically, under the style tab, I can change which one, the title or the subtitle, or the icon or whatever. I can change the colors to be whatever I want. Doesn't really matter as long as you get them to match up. But right now I've got the first part is white, second part is yellow. So of course, all you have to do is you can click right here and type out whatever you want, and you're typing straight onto the screen. Now you also have a subtext right here if you wanted to type, and it's going to be like a subtitle down at the bottom. You can see the text appear, but I chose to leave it out, as well as an icon if you want to. So you can click right here and you can add an icon. So let's say a down arrow or maybe a clock or something like that. We click on insert, and now I've got an icon here as well, which I feel like is irrelevant obviously in this heading because it's specifically the text that I want the attention drawn to. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the trash can to remove it. I just wanted to show you guys that that's how the widget actually works. Okay. So now that we've got the text here, we can change the alignment down here in the bottom left, excuse me. So we can change it to the right side, the left side, or center. And you'll notice it's not actually centered because I've got a little bit of padding or margin over here on that side. And so if I show you guys under the Advanced tab, you can see it. The padding I've got on the left side over here 150 and on the right side 620. So there's extra space and extra space. That's why it's not dead center. So, but if I removed those, here, I'll do it right now. Let's remove them just like that and go to the content. Now you'll see that it's dead center of the screen, or it's to the right or to the left. So I'm going to leave it on the left-hand side, and I think it was like 620 or something like that. And, oops. So we got to unlink the values. And then I think the left had 150. Perfect, there it is. All right, and so, by the way, that's kind of how the padding works. I'm adding space or padding onto whatever part that I talk about. So if that's the top, the left, the right, the bottom, or whatever. So we'll go back to the Content tab. So that's actually everything in the Content tab. Let's move over to the Style tab. You can also change the background color if you want to, but I kind of like the transparent, so you can see the background behind the text. But if you wanted to add a color, you totally can, just like this. It kind of highlights your text. So if you wanted it to be highlighted, so let's just choose like that yellow, it kind of matches or whatever, you could. But I don't think it looks good, so I'm going to remove it by hitting this little reset button right there. You can go down here and add some icon styles. So the icon is that little clock that I put down here, so you can choose the size as well as the color, but I don't have one, so I'm going to close that. And then you can go down to color and typography, and this is how you change the text. You can change the text size, the color, and everything. So the title style, you can see, is, let's see, the white and the yellow right here. So there's the white and there's the yellow. So main and solid, these just correspond to, over here, the first and the last right here. So I'll go back there, and you can see that if I change it to something else like this green, that changes that one. If I change this one to gray, it changes that one. So that's how you guys do it. I'm going to go back to white. And then I'll change this back to the yellow. Okay, so you guys already know how to change the text here as well as changing the color. So let's go ahead and change the font, the size, and all of that. And so that's how you do typography. So when we go over here to typography, we're going to click on this blue pencil icon right here. And we've got the font, which right now is set to default. And so I would leave that unless you actually want to change the font, which I'm going to show you guys how to change the font of everything on the entire website as well as the colors on the entire website in just a second. But I wanted to show you that if you wanted to individually edit this font, you can just change the font family right here. You click on this guy, and then you can choose from a whole bunch of different fonts that they have here. And then the size is right here, so I've got it set to 92, but you can drag this up and down, and you'll see the size goes up and down. And so we'll just kind of put it around 92 again. Close enough. Hey, 92, perfect. And then we can play around with the weight, so that's how thick the letters are. So right now it's at default, but I could change it down to 200, and they go a lot thinner. And then, of course, as I go thicker, like 700 or 800, it gets thicker. And so I'm going to put it back to default. And then I've got the text transform, so I could make all of this lowercase if I wanted to, capitalize each word, however I want to do it. So that's pretty nice. We've got the style, so you can make it italic if you want to. And then we also have decoration if you want to like underline it or put a line through it or something like that. You know, something like this, and then it'll put a line. So we'll remove that. And then you've got the line height, the letter spacing, and the word spacing. And so this is how far apart the words are. This is how far apart the letters are, which right now I've got it set to 3, as you can see, but you can drag this however you want and kind of spread them out if you want. But again, I'm just going to put it back to 3, 2.8, close enough. All right, so that's how you change the text, the size, the font, the lines, and everything like that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we've already done this widget. If you guys want to change around these as well, you can just right-click on it when you're inside that blue box here and click Edit Social Icons. Or again, you could hover over it and click on the blue pencil right here. And these are pretty easy to change around. You can click on whichever one of these. If you want to switch the order around, you can just drag like this, as you can see. So if I want Facebook to be second, you'll see now that Facebook is second. Drag it back up. We can click on it, and that's how you can edit it. So you can click here and change the icon to whatever you want. So you click on all icons, and then you could search for something like Instagram. And you could click on Instagram if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that because it's already right here. And then right here is where you would put the link to your actual Facebook. So you would go over to a new tab, you'd go to your Facebook, totally spelled that wrong, and then you would log in, and then as soon as you're on your page, you would basically just copy the hyperlink right here, go back to Elementor, and paste it right there. And so I'll just do this page right now, so Control or Command C, and we'll paste it right here, Control or Command V, and close out of that one. And so let's just say that that's my Facebook link. We're pretending here because obviously that's just facebook.com. And then you do the same thing for your YouTube. You put your YouTube link right there, your Twitter link, Instagram. So you just open a new tab and go to your YouTube, and then a new tab, go to your Instagram, and keep doing that. So that's how you can change them. Now this button is to remove it. So if you don't want TikTok, so here, I'm going to click on this button first, and that duplicates it. If you don't want it, you can just click on the X and it removes it, just like that. And then if you want to add a new item that's not duplicated, you click here, and then right now it's the WordPress icon, but you can of course change it to whatever you want. So let's just say Tumblr insert, and then there's my Tumblr, just like that. But I'm going to remove it. Okay, so now we can also go to the Style tab, and if you guys want to change the color, we'll go over here to Icon right here. We've got the size, which is set to 24, and so I can drag this and make them huge, or I can make them small. So something like that. And then we have the primary color and the secondary color. So the primary color is like a background color, which you can't really see very well. Here, let me make it something like bright green. And so you can see that the background color is this green, which right now I basically had it set to transparent, like invisible. So I basically completely made it transparent because I didn't want a background color. I just wanted them just the icon. And then you've got the secondary color, which is the actual color of the icon itself. So it's white. And then we can go from here to icon hover, and we can change the secondary hover color. So that's why it changes yellow when I hover over them, just like this. Which also lets people know that they're links, so they can click on them, and it'll take them to a link. So let me go ahead and click on this little eyeball right next to update in the bottom left corner. So let me show you guys again what I just clicked on. So update is the button right here. We're gonna go right next to it and click on preview changes. And so that's going to open up a new tab so I can see my website. And again, if I click on Facebook, it's going to take me to that link that I just put in there. Remember that? So that's pretty cool. We can close out of that tab as well. Okay, so now you guys have edited everything up here. Let's move on to this little logo section. These are kind of like the clients that this person has worked with. So Marcus worked with, Almond, Darkside, Bastille, Bollier, I guess. Bollier, I don't know. Dig It and stuff like that. These are just fake logos, of course. And so if you guys wanted to enter in your own logo, you can just click on it right here. And all it is a little image. And so you can just choose the image right here. So instead of this logo, you could choose something else. And keep in mind over here, a logo is a PNG file. You've got a JPEG file. So if I click on this image, this is a JPEG or a JPG, which is kind of an image. And then you've got a PNG, which is more like logos, or like my logo right here. It's also a PNG. And basically that means that it's got a transparent background. So that way, if I put this image over something else, you just see the text. You don't have all this gray in the background. So make sure if you guys are going to put logos here that you would just click on, some random logo or something. And then you would click on insert right here in the bottom corner. And that's how you would change these logos to be somebody else. So you could go out there and get logos for something like Sony or, different companies that you actually work with. And then you can put them here. And if you don't have any companies that you work with, you could, of course, just delete this entire section by clicking on this little blue X button right here. And just leave it blank. You don't have any companies that you work with, that's fine. You can just have it go straight from your hero section right into the next section right here. But I'm gonna hit Control or Command Z to undo that delete. Just wanted to show you guys that. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to show you guys before we move on to the About section is the motion effects that I put into this. And so right now this text fades in, so we can go ahead and right click and say edit the color, or the dual color heading, I mean. We'll go over here to the Advanced tab, and you'll see way down here on the bottom, or kind of towards the middle, it says Motion Effects right here. When you click on it, that's why it fades in at the very beginning. That's also why these can grow. It's the same thing. If I were to click on this guy right here, I think, is the one that I have the motion effects on. Let me just double check here. Motion effects. Yeah, pulse. So I've got this blue box here pulsing in. So let me go back to the dual color heading under the motion effects. That's what's causing it to do this. Let me show you guys. I'm going to click on Preview Changes, and right before it loads, watch the text. It's going to fade in just like that, nice and slow. And then you saw that this also pulsed. It got bigger and then smaller. Those are called motion effects, and it just adds a little bit of class to your website. I like throwing those in every once in a while. So if you guys wanted to change it, you could just change it from fading in to fade in from the left. So now it's going to fade in like that. Or you could have it fade in from the right, and then it comes in like that. Or it could fade in from the bottom, just like that. And then you can also do like zooming, so it'll zoom in, or you could do bouncing, sliding, whatever you guys want to do. I think the fade in looks the best, just like this. And then we've got how fast it does it. So right now it's slow, but I could also do fast. And it's basically really fast or slow. It's a little more gradual. And then I can also set a delay. I set a 200 millisecond delay. You could also go up or down. and that'll just wait 200 milliseconds before it actually displays the whole fade-in animation. So it just made it a little bit slower and more just grand, I guess, is what I was going for. All right, and when you guys are done making your changes, you always want to hit the update button down here, the green one. That's basically to save your work, and it publishes all of the changes you just made. All right, so now that we've finished customizing this hero section, and I'm sure you guys made a beautiful hero section with your own images and text or whatever, we can go ahead and move on down to the next one right here, and this is like the About section. So the About section, we've got, again, a lot of basic fundamental widgets. So if I click on this Rubik's Cube icon in the top left corner, it'll show all these widgets again, if you guys remember. And if you guys remember earlier, I was telling you, it's usually just a bunch of headings and text editors with a couple images, and that's exactly what this About section is. We've got a heading text right here, so if I hover over the blue pencil icon, it's going to say Edit Heading. So this is a heading, this is a heading, this is a text widget, so that's the text editor. And then we've got, another heading, text. I think this is a heading widget. Let me see here. Okay, so it's actually a button. And so there's your button right there. It's still in the top 6. And then there's your image. So let's go ahead and edit this one. Now, you guys already know how to edit your text. We just did it over here. But I'm going to show you guys again. You can just right-click on it and say Edit the Heading. And now we've got our heading over here. We've got the Content tab. And that's where we can literally just type right here and change whatever you want. So right now it says join our club, but you could, type out whatever you want. All right, so that says join our club. And then we've got the second text right here, but we'll get to that. So we can also change the alignment, again, right here. So if we want it centered or to the left or to the right. And then we can go to the Style tab, and if I wanted to change the color, I can just go right here. And you can click here and change the color yourself, or you could actually select one of the theme colors that I already installed into the website. So there's your yellow color, and then the black and the gray. And then if you wanted to change the typography, again, you click on the blue pencil icon. You can change the font, the size, the weight, transform. So I made this automatically uppercase. That's why if you notice in the Content tab, I typed it in lowercase, but it's appearing in uppercase. It's because I transformed it in the typography tab right here to uppercase. And then I also increased the letter spacing, so that's why the letters are kind of spread out. All right, and then I did the same thing to this. You can just right-click and say Edit Heading, and it's the exact same thing. You make your changes here, go to the Style tab, you can change the coloring, the text, and all of that. And same thing for the text editor. You can click on it or right-click and say Edit, and you'll see that now for the text editor, same thing. I've got my paragraph right here of dummy text. I can also go to the Style tab, and this is where I can change the alignment. So I've got the left, right, justified, or center, just like this. And then I've got my text color here, so I can make it yellow if I want to, and you see that, but I'm going to leave it as that gray color right here. And then I've got my typography, again, where I can change the size, the font, and everything. All right, so let's move on down here. This is another heading, so we can right-click and say Edit. And again, the only thing that's different about this one than this one is the color right here. So we've got the text color, and it's set to yellow. And I've already built in that color palette, so you guys don't have to go over here and try and get the exact same yellow over and over and over again. All you have to do is click on that little globe icon, and you can choose theme color 1 right there. And that's your yellow. All right, and then we can change the text. You guys know how to do that. And then this is an image, so you can click on it, and all you got to do is click right here, and you can change the image. So you can pick whichever image you want in your library, or you can upload a file and click Select Files, and then you can enter in your own image. So let's enter in this one right here, and click on Open. Okay, and now I've got the one image right here, and then you would just click on Insert Media just like that. And now my new image has popped up into the website. So that's how you can change the image if you guys want to. You guys know how to change the text right here. We can go ahead and edit the button last. So I'm going to right-click and say Edit Button. You can change the text that's displaying right now. So it says Learn More, but we could say something like Read More or something like that if you guys want to. So that's how you change the text of the button. The icon is right here, and that's a little arrow, but you can click on it, and you can choose whichever icon you want. So instead of an arrow, if you wanted to use something like this dash, or if you wanted a little click button, like a little mouse right here, you can click on Insert, and now it says it's got the little icon right there. You could also remove the icon by clicking on None, just like that. And then we can also enter the link. So when someone clicks on this button, maybe you have an extra page, and you add one, let's just say a new About page. So this is like a little snippet of the About page, and then if they click on this button, it'll take them to that specific About page that has everything on it. Then you would basically just put the link right here. So if I click backspace, you'll see that it's asking for a URL. but I'm just going to put that placeholder back just like that. So that's how you would enter in a link for this button to take someone to. We can go to the Style tab, and we can edit how the button looks. So we can change the text color, which right now is black, and so I could change it to a different color. The background color is default for some reason, but I could also change it to yellow, just like this, and it's the same thing, you can see. And then you can change the hover color as well, so when I hover over it, you'll see that it goes to more of a yellow text with no background. And so the text color is yellow, but if I wanted to, I could change that to black or something like that. So as I hover, basically the yellow background disappears, and so I could add, instead of a yellow background, maybe we do a gray background like this. So when you hover, now it goes to gray. So you can choose what colors you want and for which normal or hover, just like this. All right, so that's how you can edit this button right here. So I'm going to click on Update to save my work. All right, guys, so now that we've edited the About section, which was pretty simple, let's go ahead and move on to the Services section. So this is where Marcus asks, how can I help you grow? And then he's got a whole bunch of different services that he provides as an SEO guy. So if you guys want to change these, they're very easy to do. First of all, you guys already know how to change the background image. We'll just go and click on the 6 dots, or we hover when only the blue section square is lit up, and then I can right click and say Edit Section. Both do the same thing. We can go to the Style tab right here, and we can change the image. And so I could click here and choose something else if I wanted to. So let's just choose another mountain picture. I guess I'll do this one, and then click on Insert. And so now you'll see that I've got the mountains in the background, which is actually, that's a really cool looking picture, especially with this black overlay. Now, again, you can change the position. So if I want to focus on the top center, I can, but that would not show enough mountains. So I'm going to go back to center, but I could also do bottom center if I wanted to, but I'm going to stick to the center of the image. And then I can change the size, which is cover, which basically stretches the image, or contain, but I don't recommend any of these because then it starts doing all of this stuff. But if you actually, of course, wanted it to look like that, you can. I would just stick to cover. Now that we've done that, we can go down to the background overlay, and you guys already know how to do it. We can just change the color here. If you wanted a yellow background, you totally could. You don't even have to use the theme color palette. You could just click here and you can just change the color to be whatever you want. And then you can just drag across and do whatever you want here. Maybe you want like a dark purple, and you could do that if you wanted to, because that looks kind of cool. But again, I'm just going to go all black just like that. And then we have the opacity right here. So all black, no black at all. We'll find like a happy medium somewhere, something like that. Okay, so you guys know also that you can click right here. You can edit the text on the left, or again, you can actually just type straight onto the screen if you want to. You see I'm just typing right here. So how can I help you grow? You can type whatever you want. You guys also know you can go to the Style tab and change the typography if you want to, or the text color. Now I'm going to edit these icon boxes right here, and they're really easy to do. You can, again, just right click and say Edit the icon box, or click on the blue pencil. I've got the icon and the text right here. So I've got the icon that I can change. So instead of a key, I could, put in a keyboard if I wanted to. So something like that. And then I could change the title right here to say whatever I want. And then this is the little description down below. So you guys can type out whatever you want here. And then again, you can do that all the way across for all of these. Now, once I have changed the icon and the text and everything, and I'm happy with it, I can change the icon position. So right now it's centered. So there's that. I could go to the left, or I could go to the right. Or I could do the top if I want to, which is basically center. So let's go over here to the Style tab, and this is where you can change the text color as well as the icon color. Pretty simple. So I've got the primary color for the icon, because we're right now on icon. I can do the primary color, which is yellow, and then when I hover over it, I also have it yellow, but if I want to, I could set that to white. And now when I hover over it, it's white, just like this. I also have it set as a hover animation to be grow, but you could also set it to shrink, and then it'll get smaller when I hover over it. Or it could pulse. So see how it goes in and out just like that. So that's kind of cool. I think the hover animation grow is probably the least cheesy out of all of those, and so that's why I usually just stick to grow, because it's pretty simple. And then you can change the color if you want to, but right now I've got these set to not change color. They basically just grow. So you still know that you could click on it and use it as a link if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and reset this to the yellow again. And then we can also change the content, which is the text. So we've got the title and the description. The title is white, as you can see. And then the description is a light gray, as you can see right here. And so again, you can change the typography for the title right here and change all of that, which you guys already know how to do. And then you can also change the typography for the description, which is the paragraph below. So that's pretty cool. All right, so once you guys have finished editing the services section, we can go ahead and scroll on down to the testimonials section. So let's click on update to save our work. That way we never have any kind of mistake and lose anything. Okay, so now we're on testimonials. And again, you guys already know how to edit a heading text. So we can click on it, or we can right click and say edit heading. And here we are. We can change the text right here. And also, of course, the style tab, we can change typography and color. And then we can do the same thing for this one. And we can do the exact same thing for all of this text right here. Look at this. Every time I hover over one of them, you'll see that this is another heading right here. So I click on it. It says edit heading right here. This is going to be a text editor. I click on it. It says text editor. So it's just the exact same thing that we've done over and over and over again right here. So I've got a heading text, text editor, heading text editor, heading text editor. So you guys know how to change the titles and the descriptions right here. And even the name right here is also another heading. Just under the style tab, it's a little bit smaller. That's what we did. So that's how you do that. So this right here is a divider widget. And so you can click on it right here. And it's just a divider. So you can change the width right here just by dragging it, as you can see. So that's how they made these lines as well. That's a divider. That's also a divider. That's a divider widget down there. So that's how you can edit the divider widget. Again, you just drag right here and it's pretty simple. That's also how they did these. Actually, it's not. That's different. So that's basically a border on the bottom of this column. You guys don't really need to change that because obviously you need the lines to differentiate between these. But if you guys wanted to change that line for some reason, you can click on edit column right here. So click on that little gray square or just right click and say edit column. Go to the advanced tab and you'll notice that we've got padding and margins. That's why it's a shrunk line. And then also under the style tab, you can go to border, and that's how you can change the width of that bottom line. He's only got it on the bottom, as you can see, or excuse me, I do, because I'm the one who built this. But so basically, that's how I put it here. But I'd recommend just leaving that line here. You can, of course, edit this one because it's a widget and it's pretty easy to. But I'm just going to reduce the width here and just shrink it something like this. Perfect. Okay. So now we can scroll on down and, oh, okay, so three more things. We've got the star widget right here, which basically this is just a widget, edit star rating. It's really simple. I can have the number display, so the 4.9 right here, I can have it display or not. It's pretty simple. I can just delete 4.9 right here, and now it's gone. But I just typed out 4.9. Because that's what I did, was a 4.9 rating. You can put in whatever rating you want. So if I start going down, you'll see that the star rating over here is going down. So if you look at it, it goes down because I can type in whatever rating I want, but I put in a 4.9 here, just like that. And you can see a tiny bit of the tip of gray is not showing. So maybe let's just say it's a 4-star, just like that. So it's a 4-star, that's a 5.0. So this would be a 4.0, I guess. There we go. So 4.0. So you guys know how to do that. You can also go over here. Oh, so it's a rating scale 0 to 5, but you can also do a 0 to 10 if you wanted to. So I don't know why you do a 10-star rating. It's a 5-star rating usually, but you can do that. And then we can also go to the style tab, and this is how we can change the color. So the title, which is that 4.0 right there, that's how you can change that. And then under stars, this is the color for the stars. So right now I've got the unmarked color is basically set to default, which is like this light gray. And then my color is the same yellow that I'm using for the entire website. So that's how you can do that. But if you wanted like an orange star, you could totally do it. Just do this and drag it over and make it like an orange star like that if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the theme color. So that's how you can edit the star ratings here. And then you can also edit this button the exact same way that we edited the button up above in the About section. You can just right click on it and say edit the button. And it's the same thing. We can say read more reviews. I could just say read more if I wanted to. So I could take out reviews, just like this. And I've got read more right there. And then I can put the link right here. So if this was a testimonial page that I have, like this is just a snippet, like maybe this is only 3 of the 30 reviews that I have. If someone cares to read through all my reviews, I could have another page called testimonials or reviews or something. And then basically when they click on this button, it would take them to that page. And later on in the tutorial, I'm going to teach you guys how to add pages to this website because this is just a single page website. So I'll show you guys how to add pages later. And then you would just put in the URL right here. Pretty simple. You can also change the alignment, of course, so I can make it centered if I want to. And now the button is in the center. But I'm going to change it to the left. And then again, we can go to the Style tab, and we've got the color. So we've got the text color and the background color, basically. And right now, they're both set to default, and the default color for the button is actually set to be this yellow and black. And again, Let me go ahead and show you guys why right now, because I know I alluded to it earlier and I just haven't gotten around to it. You guys don't have to click out of Elementor. I just wanted to show you guys really quickly over here under Customize. So we'll go to Appearance, Customize on a new tab. I'm going to go over this in a later step, but I just want to show you guys what I mean when I say theme colors. I'll go to Global and then Colors. So I created this color palette right here, so everything on the entire website is built to follow this color palette. So if I wanted to change every single, so if I want to change this yellow, that's everywhere on the website. So this is yellow, that yellow, this yellow, every yellow on the website. If I want to change that to a different color, I totally can. So I could click here, and let's say I wanted to make it red, just like that. Now you'll see, now because I have two different theme colors, it's using a yellow theme color here as well. So I'd also have to change this one to red, but I don't want to do that right now. But you can see that I've already changed most of the red from yellow all over my website. So now you can see that I've changed all of this, the red stars. So y'all can see that with only a couple clicks, you can completely change the color of this entire website. And again, I'm going to show you guys how to do all of this in the next few steps. I just wanted to tell you guys, that's why I keep mentioning theme colors, because I already set it up for you guys. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to copy this to my clipboard and just paste it right here. Okay, so now we're back to yellow. All right, so I'm going to click on Publish to save that and close back out. And again, you guys didn't have to do that with me. I just wanted to show you. That's why when you click on something like these stars and go to the Style tab and choose your text color, which again right now is set to default, you can click on it, and those theme colors that I told you, there's the yellow, yellow, black, gray, white, white. So that's the color palette right there, the theme colors. So I'm going to show you guys how to change those, so don't worry. But it looks like this button, when we were editing it, under the Style tab, these are set to the default button color, which is built into the website for you guys. So if you guys want to change that color, along with all of the other colors, you would just go over there to that theme setting that I was talking about earlier. But again, I'm going to show you guys that later. But if you want to individually change this color of this button, then you can just do it right here. You could say, I want it to be blue instead. So blue text, and I want the background to be gray, just like this. So now that's what the button looks like. And now, if I click on Update, and I save that for a second, let me just show you guys. You don't have to do this with me. And then I scroll on down to that button that I just changed, which is right here in the Testimonial section. And then I go to my colors. You'll notice that if I were to change this yellow color again to something like red, it will not touch this button because now I've individually changed that color. So it's no longer attached to this color palette. So just keep in mind that whatever colors you change in Elementor, you're not changing the theme colors of the website. And so we'll go over this in literally the next step when we talk about the header and footer. So I'm going to go ahead and just change this back to that yellow, publish that, and go back. Okay, so now we're back in Elementor. So I'm going to right click on this and say edit my button. And I'm just going to set this to be reset. And I'm going to reset this one as well. So now it's the black and yellow, just like this. Okay. So that's how you can edit the button right here. So let's go ahead and scroll on down. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to show you guys, if you wanted to change the background, I have this background giant quotation mark here. And so you guys can go and edit the section right here. And if I go to the Style tab, again, like I'm trying to change the background, I placed it in the background overlay, and you can see here's the image. Yes, you can actually edit an image into the background overlay, so you can have two images overlaying over themselves. So like if I put another image back here, for instance, like let's just choose this one. Now I can actually have that image overlaying over this image, as you guys can see. So if I go over here, and then I can change the opacity of the overlay. So I just wanted to show you guys that you can do that, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that image in the background there. So if you guys wanted to remove that quotation mark, you can. Just go here and then click on the trash can. Okay, so now that we're done with the testimonial section, I'm going to click on Update to save my work. And we are going to scroll on down to this part of the website right here, which is kind of like a call to action mixed with a little bit of, I guess, social status, or basically saying that I have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, as well as, this is how much I guarantee that you're going to increase your revenue or whatever. These are kind of stats that you could show off or whatever you guys want to display here. So this one is, again, really easy. It's just text, text. Now this is an icon list, so I can click on it or right click and say edit icon list. And this is pretty similar to the social icons at the top of the website, if you guys remember these right here. So when I'm editing this icon list, I can click on it and change my icon right here. And I can choose from whatever I want, which I chose this check mark. And then you can change the text right here. And then if you wanted to make this a link, you could actually just enter in the link right here. But I just chose to make them just not clickable. They're basically just saying you get a free trial and cancel at any time. All right. And then the last two things that are on this little section right here is this image, which again, you can just right click on it and say edit this image. And then you can choose to put whatever other image you want in here. And then you can also edit the button, which we already know how to do. You can right click and say edit this button. And then if you want, you can change the text right here, which says contact me. And then I could change the link, which right now is actually set up to take them down. So if I click on it, it's going to drop them automatically. I didn't scroll. It's going to drop them automatically down to the contact section. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that in just a second here. But actually, let me show you guys how to do it now, because that's also how these buttons up in your header work. So if I go ahead and preview the changes of the website, which again is the little preview changes button right next to the update button right here. So I open up my website. This is like a preview of what my site looks like. These buttons up here, this navigation menu, work the exact same way as this button right here. Okay? So I'm going to tell you guys how this button works. So when you click on it, it drags you down to the contact section. So if I click on the About Me part, it takes me to the About Me. Or if I say Services, it'll take me to the Services. And then if I go to Testimonials, it goes down here. And then if I click on Contact Me, it drops me down to the Contact section. So let me show you guys how these work. And it's called anchors, basically. So in Elementor, you can title anything you want with an anchor. Anything you want. You can make this background section have an anchor, right? Or you can make this text right here have an anchor, which I actually put an anchor on this text that you can't see. So you click on it. So let's say Edit Heading. We'll go to the Advanced tab, and it's called a CSS ID, basically an anchor. Okay, and so I put in a word. It could be whatever I want. It's just a keyword. There's no capitals, there's no periods in it or anything like that. Just one word. So this is, the anchor is about. And then I have the button up here, the About button up there, is set to go for the link. So let's just say read more right here. The link, so right here, this link is set to hashtag about, just like this. So the hashtag tells this button to search where on this website the anchor about is and to go to it. So now if I click on this button, it's going to take me to that anchor that you can't see, but it's right here. So that's how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this because I don't want it to bring them back up to what they just read. You want this button to take them to a different page. Let me click on Update. Let's go down and look at this Contact button right here. So this Contact button, if I say Edit Button, you'll see the link says hashtag contact. And so when I click on it, it's going to take them to the anchor that I placed inside of this section that says, on the Advanced tab, CSS ID is contact. So first you place the anchor and it's contact, and then you can call on that anchor by saying hashtag contact. And that's all you got to do. It's really easy. So that's how you can set buttons to take them to different portions of the website. So if I wanted this contact section or this contact button to take them anywhere else, I would just go up here and, for example, this heading, you go click on it, go to the Advanced tab, and I could put a different CSS ID here. But again, this one says Testimonials, because if you guys remember, I'm going to open the site up. This button is using the hashtag Testimonials anchor, and it takes them straight to the testimonials. So that's how those work. I'll show you guys how I set these buttons up again in the next step, because that's when we start working with the header and then also the footer of the website. So we'll do that in a little bit. Close that out. But I wanted to show you guys that's also how I set this button up. So if you click on it, it takes you down to the contact button so that now people want to contact you with this form. Okay, so that's how you edit this button. And again, if we scroll on down, we've got another heading, another text, and then these are counters, which are pretty cool. You just click on it, and you'll see edit the counter. And so it basically just animates, it counts 0 all the way up to 100. So starting number is 0, ending number is 100. So if I open the website up on a new tab, it's kind of the same thing as these motion effects. It's an animation. So when I scroll on down, see how they count up to 100 and this one counts up to 6,300? Well, that's how you do it. I could set the starting number and the ending number. And so I set the ending number to be 100. And then I said I want the suffix, which is the back side, as opposed to the prefix, which is the front side. The suffix is a % sign, because I want to say 100%, and so 100%. And then I've got my title right here, which is customer satisfaction. And so that's right there. And you'll notice that I typed it out in lowercase and it's uppercase, and that's because under the Style tab, which you guys know how to do, I went to Typography, and I set it to uppercase, and I added some letter spacing. So that's how that works. And then I also made it kind of small with the size. But then back on the Content tab, you can also change the animation duration. And so I have it set to 1,000, so that means this is in milliseconds. So 1,000 milliseconds equals 1 second. So basically, in 1 second, it counts from 0 to 100. But you can make that go a lot slower or a lot faster if you want to. All right, and so now, so that's a suffix right there. You can see that's the percentage. If I click on this one, you'll see that the prefix is the $sign. And so in front of the number, I put the $sign. And so I got it going from 0 to 6,300 all in 1 second is how I have this one counting, because I wanted it to go really fast. You can also choose to remove the 1,000 separator, so that comma right there, we can just remove it. Or you can add it. As you can see, the comma's there. And then you can choose a separator as well. So right now it's a dot or a space or whatever, but the default is a comma. All right, so that's how you edit those counters. And then you can go to the Style tab, and we know how to change the color right here. And we know how to change the typography. And this is the number. So see, I've got number and title. The number, I got the typography, the color, and everything. And then the title, I also have the color and typography. So that's how you guys can change those. And then again, if you want to change this background image, we go up here and click on Edit, the section right here, because it's this section back here. And I go to the Style tab, and I just click here on the image and change it to whatever I want. So let's choose another mountain image and click on Insert Media. All right, so now I've got this mountain in the background, which also looks really good on this website. And then again, we've also got a background overlay, and it's just black. And then I can change the opacity right here. Okay, so that's how you edit this section. Let's click on Update to save our work, and we'll move on to the next one. All right, so now we've got the Contact section. And so the Contact section has this map right here that changes color as I hover over it, which I think looks really cool. I wanted it to match the black and white aesthetic of the website, because, you know, we've got black and white up here, a lot of dark contrast. So we're going to be editing this as well as all of this and the contact form. So again, this is just a heading widget and a text widget. So we're going to skip over these because you guys know how to change that. You can literally click right here and text on the screen. You can type right here. And then we've got these, which is an icon list. It's the same one as this one right here. It's just one was horizontal and one is vertical right here. So I'm going to right click and say edit the icon list. And again, same thing. You click on it. You've got the 3 that you can reorganize like this. So if I want, you know, mail to be first, my email is now on top. I'm going to drag it down. I can click on it and I can change my icon right here, and I can change the text right here. So, you know, if I wanted to change this to a phone number, I could click here and choose a phone icon, and then I could type out my phone number right here. But that's already there. As you can see, I've already got the phone number, but I just wanted to show you guys that's how you change it. And then if you wanted to make this a link, you could actually put the link right here. And so maybe you've got Google Maps open on a new tab and you search this address, you know, and then you copy the hyperlink like that, and then you would paste it right here. So when someone clicks on this on a new tab, it would just open them straight into Google Maps. So maybe you want to have that set up. And then again, you can go over here. Oh, so the layout, I forgot I wanted to show you guys. Layout is default, which is vertical. And then you've got inline, which is horizontal, as you can see. And then obviously, because I've got a spacer here, it's lapping over to the next lane. But we'll put it into default, which is the vertical. And then again, you guys know how to go to the Style tab, and you can change the icon colors right here. So I've got the color and the hover color. So that's why it goes from black to yellow. And that's just for the icon. And then I've got the text right here, which is the black and yellow. So that's why the text and the icon both change color at the same time. And then we also have the typography right here. Okay, so that's how you edit the icon list. And then we've got another text, which you can just type right here on screen. And then this is the same thing as this. It's an icon list, but this is a social icon list. So let's right click and say edit social icons. And it's the exact same thing. You click on it and you can change the icon. And then you can enter in the link. So you find your Facebook link and you put it right here. You can reorder them if you want to just by dragging. You can duplicate one or delete it. You can add an item right here. And then I can go to the Style tab and I can choose my colors. It's the exact same thing as this first one right here. It's the exact same widget, the exact same one. So we'll come back down. Except for this time, I made that background black a lot more visible. I made the background a lot bigger, so I increased the size, and then I also changed the colors, obviously. So now it's like black and white, or excuse me, black and yellow, and then it inverts. As you can see, it's black and then yellow, and then when I go to the icon hover, it's yellow and then black. So that's how I did that. So that's how it switches colors. And you can also add the hover animation if you want to, so you could say grow if you want, but for these I didn't have it grow, I just have it change color. Okay, so now we'll go from here down to the map. So the map is completely interactable, and it's really easy to set up. This is probably the easiest widget on Elementor. We'll just go over here and click on the blue pencil icon, because you can't really right-click on this one to try and edit it, so you have to click on the blue pencil icon here. And then over here on the left-hand side, you just choose the location, and it'll automatically use Google Maps to search for it. So for this one, it's set to Philadelphia, but I'm in Austin, Texas, so I can go ahead and choose Austin. And you just search it like this, and here we are. There's Austin, Texas. And I can scroll out just like this, or I could scroll back in and see everything here. And then I can change the zoom. So right now it's set to this zoom, but I could also zoom out a little bit if I want to. And so by default, it'll be at this zoom, or I could zoom back into 14, and then, or 15 on accident. And then now when someone opens the website, by default, it'll be this far zoomed in. And then I can also change the height, just like this. Make it taller or shorter. So it's really simple to use. Now, the way that I made it change black and white was a little bit more complex. I went to the Style tab, and there's only one thing you can do to the map, and that's add a CSS filter. And so you click on it, and it's kind of like it's like a photo editing. So you've got your blur, your brightness, your contrast, saturation, and hue. And so all I did was the normal is completely desaturated, I think. So it's I think it's the hover that's desaturated. No, so the hover is regular. So when I hover over it, it's saturated. So let's click on this, and you'll see that it's saturated. On the normal, though, I went ahead and desaturated it completely. And so that's why it changes. Okay, so that's how you edit the map. Now let's show you how to edit your contact form. So I'm going to click on Update to save my work because we're actually going to be hopping outside of Elementor. Okay, so the cool thing about using the all-in-one migration plugin right here that we used at the very beginning of this video is it basically automatically installs all of the plugins that I used. It installs all of the images and media. It installs everything, all the color palettes, everything. So because we did that, you guys already have a widget, or excuse me, a plugin installed called WP Forms, and that's WordPress Forms. So that's how you set up contact forms. So if you guys don't have Elementor opened up on a new tab like I do, so that I can go back to my dashboard quickly, the way that you exit Elementor is you go to the hamburger icon up here in the top left corner, and then you can say exit to dashboard. All right. And then you can just click on this WordPress symbol right here, and it'll take you back to your WordPress dashboard, just like this. But I always like to have a dashboard tab open so I can go back to it, just so you guys know. Okay, so now that we're back on the WordPress dashboard, let's go ahead and customize your contact form. So we're going to go over to WP Forms on the left-hand side right here, and then we're going to go to All Forms. And I'm going to open it up again on a new tab, so I can always go back to my dashboard quickly if I want to. Okay. So now that we're on WP Forms, I've got my contact form already created, but you'll see numerous forms if you have a ton of different ones. Like maybe you have a subscription form, and then you've got a footer form, or whatever you guys want here. This is a list of all of them, and there's only one of them built. So we can click on Add New if we wanted to build one from scratch, or we could just edit the one that I already have for you. So we're going to click on Edit. Okay. So to edit the contact form, it's really easy. It's also a drag and drop feature just like Elementor. So if I want to move the name field, I can just move it below email, and now it says email, then name, then contact, or comment or message. So you can drag and drop them wherever you want. You can also drag whichever fields you want into the form. So let's say I want a number box. It's like a phone number. I can drag this and say first your phone number, then your email. So now I've got one for numbers. I can click on whatever field I want to edit. So I clicked on numbers, and now I can change the label right here. So I'm going to take out the S and say phone number. All right. So it says phone number just like this. I could also add a description if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. And then you can also choose whether or not this is a required field or not. So see the red asterisk right here, you won't be able to hit submit without entering in an email or a name. So I could say that the phone number is also required just like that. And then if you want to look at all the fields again, you just go from field options back over to add fields. So you can switch between these two tabs right here. So now I can add another one if I want. So I could add maybe checkboxes or a drop down like this. And so now there's a drop down and you can say first choice, second choice, third choice, as you can see. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. And the way to do that is you go over here and click on the trash can on the top right. All right. So now, again, you can click on these and I can edit the name. I can go to the advanced tab and choose whether I want it small, medium, or large, but I have it set to large so that it takes up the full width of this little box that we're using. And then I can also choose to hide the label if I want to. So now you can't see the word name. It'll just be a blank word, a blank field here, but I think it's kind of necessary to tell them what you want. The only time you would hide the label is if you add a placeholder. And so you can see that the placeholder text is right here. Here, I'll do it on one that's a little bit easier. Let's do the email. So on email, if I go to the advanced tab, I can hide the label. So now you won't see the word email, but then I can put the placeholder text that says email, just like this. And so it says it in the form if you want to. So it's two ways of doing the exact same thing, two different styles. All right. So now we can go over here to the settings tab right here, and we can choose the general settings, the notification settings, and the confirmation settings. And this is it. That's all we have to do. So the general settings are the name of the form, which doesn't even display on your website anyways, so there's no real point in changing this if you want to. I just label it whatever I want because, again, when you're over here on your dashboard, you don't have to do this, but when you're on your dashboard over here and you're looking at a long list of different forms, you kind of want to know that this one's called contact form. This one might be called subscription, email subscription form, whatever you want to do. So that's how you would change the name right here. And then you can change the button text. So when you're looking at the contact form, you can change what this button says. It says submit, and then when you click on it, it says sending. I don't see any point in changing that, but if you want to, you can, so you can get clever. Then from the general tab, let's go to notifications. So we just did general, now we're moving down. Notifications is pretty important. You get to choose all of this. Now, right now it's using shortcode to automatically pull your admin email from your account. But if I were you, sometimes people run into issues with this and the contact forms aren't coming into your email. Because every time someone writes something in the contact form on your website, it'll send you an email with that message so that you can read it in your email. That's the whole point of having a contact form, so that people can basically email you. And so you want to basically add your email right here. So send to my email. So let's just say create a portfolio. Okay. And then you can enter in a subject line. So every time the email comes in, it'll say this. And so new entry, simple contact form, or you can maybe say something like Marcus Oliver SEO, so you know it's coming from your website. Simple contact form entry if you want. And then you know that someone contacted you on your website. And then we've got the from name. So right now it says from, so like when you're looking at your Gmail, so let me open up a new tab real quick. When you're looking at your Gmail, the from name is this. So it says from WordPress right here. So we can go over here and the from name, we could just say something like this. And then the from email, you could just have it set to admin email if you want, or you could have it come from your email. So you can just copy paste this if you want to and paste it right there. And then you've got the reply to email address. Now this one you do not want to change because that's using shortcode to pull from this email form right here. So whatever email they put right here is what you are pulling to put right here. So that's pretty important. And then the email message, again, is pulling all fields. And so I'll show you guys what this looks like in a little bit. So lastly, let's go over to confirmations, and you can basically just change the confirmation message. So when someone's on your website, you guys don't have to do this, I just want to show you. When someone's on your website and they go over here and they say, my name's Levi, Hagen, blah, 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 and they hit submit. So here, let's just put in an email, put in a message at email.com, submit, sure, submit. It'll say, thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch with you shortly. That's what you can change right here. So you can change whatever message you want to display on the website after they contact you. And so I'm just going to leave it as the default. Okay, so let me show you guys what this looks like when it actually goes into your email. So I'm going to click on save in the top right corner. So now our contact form is live. I'm going to close out of this tab, and then I'm also going to close out of the website here and reopen it. So let's go back to my website, open on a new tab. Perfect. And so now I'm going to go down to the contact section, and I can put in my email and my name. So Levi. I can say my phone number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sure. And then I can say my email is just a random email again, and this is my message, just like that, and say submit. Oh, I have to put in a Hagen. All right, and submit. All right, so thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch with you shortly. So now we can go over to my Gmail and press refresh. And if it doesn't show up right here, make sure you go over to the More tab right here, and you go to your spam folder, and there it is. So now I can right click on it and say, let's see, not spam. And so it'll put it back into my inbox. Okay, so when you hit refresh, see how fast that is? It's right here. So Marcus Oliver SEO website, that's the from name. The title, Marcus Oliver SEO, simple contact form entry. So now I know it's that. Click on it, and this is what it looks like. It shows me the contact form and what they put into it. So I've got their phone number, their email, and what they asked me for. So that's how it works. Pretty simple. Close out of the Gmail. All right, and so that's how you edit your contact section. Now, I think the website is looking fantastic, and I hope you guys were able to enter in all the images and text that you guys want to make this site your own. So now that we're done editing the website, we can go ahead and move on to step number 6, which is to edit your header, footer, and logos. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and close out of this tab and go back to our WordPress dashboard. From here, we can go over to the Appearance tab and then click on Customize, which I'm going to open on a new tab. All right, so now we're using the theme customizer from Astra, which is our actual theme from WordPress. We're using the customizer for Astra now. So it's very similar to Elementor, where we've got the view of our website over here on the right, and then we can customize the website on the left. And you might remember earlier, I went over here to global and then clicked on colors, and that's where I was showing you guys the color palette that I built into the website, where you guys can change the colors of almost everything on the site. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the back button and go back to this home area, I guess for lack of better words. We're going to be going to the header builder because we're working on the header, the footer, and your logos. So first we're going to go to the header builder, and then next we're going to go to the footer builder right down here. Okay, so under the header builder, it's pretty intuitive. You can see that the site title and logo is over here on the left, and it's over on the left. And then we've got the primary menu with a button over here on the right. And so if I were to drag the logo over here to the center, you'll see that it moves it to, well, the center. And then I can move, maybe the menu over here on the left, and then the button could be on the right. And you guys get the idea. I can kind of customize the layout of my header. So I do like my logo going to be over here, and I do like my menu over here in front of the button. Okay, so you guys see that you can drag and drop them, and I can also put them into different spaces because there's 3 levels to this as well. So as you can see, I've got a top level, and then I could also have a bottom level down here. But I'm just going to put this back where it was. All right, now from here, we're going to go ahead and play around with what's in your header. So the first thing that we have is the logo right here. Anytime you want to edit something, you can either click in 3 different places. So if I want to edit this logo, I can click on Site Title and Logo, which is the widget for it. I could click on the actual widget that's in this, little space here, so I could click on this widget, or I could click on the blue pencil icon that appears when I hover over whatever I want to edit. So I could click on the blue pencil icon and it takes me straight to logo, or I could click here, same thing, takes you to logo. Okay, so this is where you can remove or replace the main logo for the website, but there's 2 logos on this website. The first one is the main one. So if I go to a page that doesn't have a transparent header, basically what that means is you can see the background image through the header. There's no solid white color back here. It's transparent. Anytime you have one of those, you've got 2 different logos. And as you can see, it's saying it right here. The logo on this page is set from the transparent header section. So on this page, it's a transparent header logo. And the way that we change that is we go back and we click on transparent header down here. And when we're in here, you can see that I've got the other logo, which is white and yellow, as opposed to the site title and logo, which is gray and yellow. Because if I were to put this gray one over this black background, you'd barely be able to read the Marcus Oliver text. So it kind of depends on your background image and colors and everything that you choose. So under the transparent header, you can see that I can change this logo. So if I click on change, again, it's just going to pull up my media library. So then if you guys have your own logo ready to go, you would just go over to upload files and then click on select files and import it. Now, if you don't have a logo, that's okay. I actually wanted to show you guys how to build your own logo for free without having to use any software. So if you guys don't have a logo, you can go ahead and follow these steps right now. I'm going to click on Publish to save my work. We haven't really changed anything, but I always do. I'm going to open a new tab and go to a website called Logo Maker, but without the E. .com. All right, and here we are. So this is what we're going to use to build our free logo. So they do have templates right here, or you can just click on Get Started or Start My Design and start building from scratch. But I'm going to go up here to the Templates tab, and you can actually choose from some of the templates that they have here, like this one, Echo, or Sandy if you want, or this one. I'm going to choose this one because it's got a lot of elements in it. Well, let's do this one because it's pretty easy to explain everything here. It's got a little bit of everything in here. So you can use a template like this, or if you want to, you could close out of that and just say Get Started. All right. So it's pretty easy to use. Over here, we've got the basic functions. So we've got like text here, you've got shapes and the paint bucket. Over here on the right, we've got the saturation square and the color wheel right here, as well as opacity. And then up here is where you can search from over 1 million different graphics. As you can see, there's tons and tons of them that you can use. So I could go up to the search bar and look for something like camera. And then I have a bunch of different camera icons that I could use. So I could grab something like this, and then I could put some text next to it. Like this. So I click on text and I add it, and I can drag it around like this, and then I could say something like Marcus Oliver, something like that. And then I could click on styles and I could make it a different alignment, and I can play with the letter spacing and all of that. And so I'll make it a left align like this. I can click on something and then I can choose the color that I want. So I can saturate it, as you can see, make it black and white, which I'm going to make it all black, but you can put the saturation dead to the center right there, and then you can choose whatever color you want the text to be. But again, I want it to be black. And then I'm just going to increase the size. I'm going to reduce that a little bit and increase the size here. So something like this. And then I'm going to increase the letter spacing a little bit. Something like that. Now I can also click on my text and I can choose my typography and font right up here. So I can go up to the designer picks, which is basically the folders. So I've got 3D, decorative font, fun font, handwriting fonts, things like that. So if I go to handwriting, you'll see they have a bunch of handwriting fonts. Or I could go to simple and modern and then click on the next one. And they've got a bunch of simple ones. So I'm going to go with Archivo Black here. Increase the size just a little bit more. Center it up just a little bit. You can use your arrow keys to make minor adjustments to move something like that. And then I could choose this one, and I could maybe make it like the same yellow that we're using on our website. So something like this. And then I've got my logo here. Now, of course, I'm just making this as an example because obviously I already put a logo on the website just like this. And I actually used Logo Maker to make this font. It was one of their templates that they had. So that's pretty cool. When you're done and ready to go, you can change, or you can save your logo by going up here to the top right corner and click on Save Logo. And then it's going to ask if you want the high resolution file, and it's going to try and make you pay for it. But you can say, no thanks, I want the low resolution PNG file right here. Click on that. Accept the terms, and then you can download your free low resolution file just like that. And as you can see, it's been downloaded to my computer for free. All right, so once you have your logo, you can go ahead and close out of Logo Maker, and you can come back to your website, and we can go ahead and insert it in here by going to Transparent Header, and under Logo, you can click Choose Image, you can upload the file, and we'll go to, I think it went to my Downloads folder, and there it is. And we'll click on Choose Image. Perfect. And of course I chose black text, so it's really hard to see. So I wanted to show you guys that you might want to kind of pay attention to what your background is on your website so that you can choose your colors, or just make 2 logos. One of them is black text and one of them is with white text. And then once you've done this, you can go ahead and choose the logo width, which is basically the size. So as you can see, I can make it big or I can make it small, something like this. And then once you're done, you can just go ahead and click on Publish to save your work, but I'm going to remove that one and put back my other one. Perfect. And then I'm going to click on Publish to save my work. All right, so now that you've got your logo built and you have put it in the top left corner, now we can click on the back button and we can work on the navigation menu as well as the button over here. So the navigation menu I've already set up for you. It's got this hover animation, so whatever page you're on is whatever is going to be active, but also you've got this cool hover animation whenever I put my mouse over it. So now what you can do is you can go over here to Primary Menu and click on it. and we can configure the menu. But before we do that, we can go to the Design tab, and you can see you've got a bunch of settings here, but none of these are actually going to work because it's on a transparent header. So if you want to change the coloring and stuff like that of this, you'll have to go back and go to Transparent Header, Design tab. And here you can change the text color. So right now it's on the normal white, and then the hover is yellow. All right, and so you can change those colors. But again, if you want to change that color, you can just go back to the global colors here. So let's go back, and we can go to global colors. And then you can just change these two yellow colors to whatever you want. And then you'll be able to have the entire website match the same color. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to change the colors, you might want to go here and make it really easy on yourself. Okay, so we're going to go back to the header builder, and we'll go back to the primary menu. So let's go ahead and talk about how I actually set these buttons up. So because this is a one-page website, these buttons are going to take you to different portions of the website, remember? So we can go over here to Configure Menu, and now you'll see that we're under Menus from the Customizing tab. So let me show you how to get there without clicking on that. So instead of clicking on the header builder, what we just did was we clicked on a shortcut that took us all the way down here to Menus, and then we clicked on Primary Menu right here. And so now under Primary Menu, you can see that you've got 4 different things right here. We've got Home, About, Services, Testimonials. Home, About, Services, and Testimonials. Because this is technically part of my navigation menu, but I wanted to add emphasis because I want people to contact me so I can get business. So that's why I made it a button. And if you guys remember, on my header builder, right down here in the bottom right, I've got Primary Menu and a button. And if I click on the button, you'll see that it says Contact Me, and again, #contact. And so that just takes them straight to the contact section on the website, just like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and back out and go into menus again. All right, so I've got Home, About, Services, and Testimonials. Now you guys can change these to be whatever you want. So right now, Home is literally a page. So let's click on Add Items, and I'll explain what I mean. So when you click on Add Items, you can add a whole bunch of different things to your navigation menu. You could add posts, like if this was a blog website. You could add landing pages, categories, tags, formats, pages, and custom links. Now, these are the 2 that I usually use the most. You can add pages, which there's only one page on this website, and it's the home page. And so you can click home page, and when you click on it, it's going to add it to the menu, as you can see. So now there's home again. But I'm going to click on this little X button to remove it. So I'm going to close up pages. You can also add custom links, which again, the way that I made these custom links, so About Me right here, is I just added a label and the URL. So again, when you click on Add Items, it asks for 2 things, the link text and the URL. So let's try another one. I'm going to create About Me instead, or I'll just say About instead of About Me. So About, just like this. So it'll be a little bit different than this one. And then I say #about, because remember, that's the anchor that's somewhere in my website. And then I click Add to Menu. And it's that easy. There's About, and it's at the very bottom. And if you want to rearrange these, you can just drag them like this. So I can drag it up here. And so now About is right here. Another thing you can do is you can actually drag it diagonal like this. And you see that little dotted line underneath is now somewhat indented from home. When I let go, it's going to make it a subpoint of home. So now I have to like click on home or hover over it, and then you'll be able to see About right here, but the coloring is all off. So just wanted to show you guys that you can do those mega menus if you want to, where there's like, you could have like collections, you hover over it and be like men, women, kids, all of that stuff. So that's how you would do those, but I'm going to drag it back out. Perfect. And then you can always click on it and edit it. Again, you can just change the label. So if I wanted this to be, something like products, and then that could take them to a products page. And so you could create the page and then link it to the page. But I'm going to go ahead and just click on Remove, which is the same thing as clicking on that red X button when you have Add Items open. So that's how you can add and remove and reorder these menu items up here in the top. All right, so now I'm going to click on Back and Back one more time. So now the button, which again, I think I already showed you guys because it's really easy to change, but you can go to the button right here. You just change the text right here, the link right here, and you can go to the Design tab and you can play around with the colors. But I already have, if you guys are curious, the global button settings right here. I already have it set up to the correct style that I like. But here is where you can choose all of this. So let me show you guys where I came. So instead of the header builder, I went to global. And these are global across the entire website settings. And so I went to the buttons tab right here. And you'll see that I've got different styles of buttons here. And so I like the curved edges one, this one. And then I changed my text color to black, and then the hover color is white. And then the background color is yellow. So every time I hover, the text turns white. I could change that white if I wanted to be, again, here's my color palette, maybe the gray. So now when you hover on it, the text just lightens a little bit, but that wasn't enough change for me, so I wanted to go with white. All right, so that's how you make the changes, and we can click on Publish to save our work. All right, guys, and the last thing we're going to do to the header before we move down to the bottom, well, it's technically a logo, is we're going to deal with your site icon, which is this little icon up here in the top left corner, which you can't really see because it's a lighter tone, but I have the MO right here as my site icon right there. You can kind of see it on the darker one right there. So I want to show you guys how you can put up your own site icon so that your website is fully customized and your own. So let's do that right now. So we're going to click on Site Title and Logo, and then we're going to click right down here on Site Icon. And when you do, you can already see that my little logo right here is displaying, and it gives you like a little preview right here. You can barely see it again. So now if you want to change it or remove it, you can remove it by clicking this one, or click Change right here. And then again, it's going to open up your library, and you can select whatever you want, or you can go over here to Upload Files, select Files, and use whatever logo you make. Now, just a heads up, guys, I went ahead and used that website logo maker to make my logo and my site icon right here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one, and you can see that I made it specifically a square image just because that's perfect for a site icon right there. But again, just use logo maker to, I literally just deleted the text right there and used the MO in the background of my logo while I was using logo maker to make this. So going to go ahead and click on select right there. It's going to ask if you want to crop it. I'm going to say no, and it's going to give you a little preview of what it looks like. So that's the app icon, and then that's also the browser icon, so that's what it looks like. I'll say skip cropping. And then that's how you put your little site icon up there in the corner. All right, and when you're done, click on Publish to save our work. And now we're going to go ahead and go back to the footer builder. So now we can edit the footer of our website. So we just click on it like this, and it's going to take us to the bottom automatically. And then you'll notice that the footer is the exact same thing. It's just got a lot more stuff in it. We've got 4 different rows here. And so we've got row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4. And then right above it, we've got HTML2 and social. HTML2 is the Stay Connected right here. I'm not sure why it's a HTML because all I did was just type in Stay Connected. And so Stay Connected pops up right here. But you guys can type out whatever you want, literally just by clicking right here and typing however you want. And then the social icons are really easy. It's kind of similar to these icons right here. So I can click on the social widget that's right here. And you'll see that it's the same thing. You click on it, and you can enter in the label, which YouTube is called YouTube, so I just made it YouTube. And then you just put in your URL, the same as when you did up here. You just put the URL right here. And then you can choose the icon, but the icons are kind of self-explanatory here. So I wouldn't change the icon. Now, the way that you would add, so if you don't want Patreon, for example, you could remove it by clicking on this X icon, or you could just make it invisible. And see, now it's invisible, but it's still there. But if you want to remove it, you can click on the X, and then maybe you want to click here and add something else. So maybe you want your LinkedIn, or maybe you want your Twitter, or something like that. Let's add Twitter. And then you can click on Add Social Icon. It's automatically going to use the correct icon when you select Twitter. So that's pretty cool when you're editing the footer down here. All right, so now that I've got Twitter, I can click on it, and I can add my URL right here. And then also you've got the alignment, so if you wanted to change it to a left align or a right align, but it just looks out of order, so I like to have it in the center. And then I already have the colors set up as well, but you can go to the Design tab here, and you could change the icon colors right here. So right now they're yellow, and you can switch them to black, but you can change the colors however you want. All right, so now you can change all of this as well, just coming over here to HTML1, and that's the title right here. And then you can change the copyright, which is down below right here. And so it's just taking copyright, because I literally just typed it out, and then used a little bit of shortcode right here to use, the copyright current year site title. And so it's saying, copyright 2022 WordPress website tutorial June 2022, and so on, as you can see. So you guys can type out your own copyright right here. For the address, we'll just go to widget 1, because as you can see, there's 4 of them, and there's 4 rows. So you just go to the second row, Click on got it. All right, and so now this is the footer builder widget 1. So you can just click on it and you can edit it. I've got a title and text. That's it. So you can type whatever you want right here, and you can change the title right there. Pretty easy. Same thing for widget 2. You click on it and click on phone, and now you can change the title right here and the phone number. And then we've got widget 3. Also pretty easy. You just click on it and you can enter in your email or the title and your email right here if you want, or you can just change it up however you want to do it. So that's how you do that. And that's actually how you edit the footer. So that's complete and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and click on publish to save my work, and that's going to make everything that I just did to my website live. So we're good to go. And then you can click on this exit button right here to go back to your WordPress dashboard. But again, I already have the dashboard up and running to go back to. All right, guys, now that we've edited the header, the footer, and the logos, we can go ahead and move on to step number 7, which is mobile responsive quick fixes. So what is mobile responsive mode? Well, I'm going to open up my website and show you guys right now. Mobile responsive mode basically means this. We just built our website for a desktop view. So it's more of like a horizontal rectangle like this. But what about people who are on the go on their smartphone looking on your website? That's more of a vertical rectangle orientation. So if we take all of this that we put on our website and we try to look at it through the lens of something really narrow, like a vertical phone screen, it's going to look completely different. So when you edit a website, you have to literally edit it 3 times for the different responsive zones or modes. So you can do that inside of Elementor. So let me show you guys. I'm going to click on Edit with Elementor right here. Now, lucky for you guys, I already went through the hassle and headache of editing this website 3 times to make sure it's responsive for the desktop, tablet, and mobile views. But I wanted to show you guys that after you make your own changes and you put your own images in here and everything like that, there are going to be some inconsistencies. So you always want to just double check those different views. In order to do that, we go down to the bottom left corner here. I'm going to click on responsive mode right here, which is right next to preview changes. So we're going to click on this one right here. And then up top, we're going to have a banner open up, and we've got the desktop view, the tablet view, and the mobile view. So if I switch to mobile view right now, you're going to see that it's going to actually put it into a vertical rectangle, like as if I'm looking at it on a smartphone, which is pretty cool. And you'll see that everything still looks great because, again, I created this website to be responsive for all 3 modes. So if I click on tablet, you'll see it's going to be a little bit more like someone has a tablet sideways and they're looking at your site. And again, it looks great. But you always want to go through on both of these 2 modes and just make sure everything looks right and nothing looks, out of proportion or something like that. So we'll do a quick scroll through. So this looks great. Scroll on through, and it took those logos and put them vertical, so that's nice. And then we've got the About section here, and I made it to where it stacks on top of itself. So we've got your picture and then the text here. And then how can I help you grow? And we've got our different icons here, or the services that we do. And then we have this section, which is testimonials, and everything compressed nicely. Nothing is like sticking off the screen, or the text is never way too big. You're looking for weird things because we're compressing the site into a smaller screen. All right, and then this one looks good as well. Everything's readable and presentable. Here's the next one. I think it looks good. And then we've got the contact form right here and the map. Let's do the same thing on the tablet view. Scroll all the way up to the top. I think it looks good. About section looks great. There's the services. They're not too crunched. It looks good. Testimonials, everything. Perfect. Yeah, looks great. Now, if we wanted to make a change, I wanted to tell you guys, you can click on the mobile mode right here. Let's say that this text right here is too big for your taste. Well, watch this. You're probably wondering, if I make any changes on here, is it going to affect my desktop version? And the answer is most of the time, no. And so the way that you know if it's going to affect the desktop version or not is you go ahead and click on the widget that you want to edit. So this is my heading widget. We go over here to the left-hand side. I'm going to click on the Style tab and go to Typography. Like, you guys already know how to do this, but I'm going to change the size. Now, if the setting you're about to change has a little icon right here that looks like a phone because we're in phone mode, then you know it's only going to affect the mobile mode. So if I click on it, you'll see that there's 3 different ones, right? We've got desktop, tablet, and mobile. So I'm only affecting the mobile version when I change this size. So watch this. If I make this way too big, and then I switch back to desktop, it's still perfectly fine on desktop and still perfectly fine on the tablet. But if I go to mobile, it looks god awful, just like this, which is what you're usually looking for something that's, not correctly compressed. So again, we would just edit this widget here, go to typography, and because it's only affecting the mobile version, I can change the size if I want to. And so it used to look like this, which I think might still look a little too big, so I'd probably shrink it to something like that. Perfect. Now you'll notice that the font does not have a phone icon next to it, because if I were to change the font of this text right here, it would affect all 3 of the different modes. But you can change a lot. You can change the line height, the letter spacing. Basically, they know that Elementor knows that there's a lot of things in terms of spacing and sizing that you're going to have to change on different modes, which is really common. So, other than that, I think the mobile and tablet versions look fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and finish up this step pretty quickly. I just wanted to show you guys that is how you would change those responsive modes. Again, you shouldn't have to because I made this site already ready for all those modes, but sometimes, if you guys were to change around too much of this site, you might want to check your other responsive modes. So let's go ahead and click on Update to save our work, and then we can close out of Elementor and go back to our WordPress dashboard. All right, guys, now it's time for step number 8, the bonus tips. You've already finished your entire website and you're ready to go with a functioning site at your fingertips. Now, what I want to do is show you a couple tricks to really make the site exactly the way you want. So maybe you want to make an e-commerce website and add a store, or maybe you want to add a calendar booking widget to the site, or you're trying to add more pages. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what's out there so that you can learn how to do it on your own. Now, obviously, we can't make an entire e-commerce website in the last few minutes here, but I wanted to show you guys what's actually possible. And be sure to check out the rest of our channel where I do cover these things more in depth. So the thing that I'm going to show you first is how to add a couple pages. And then I want to show you how to link the page you just built to the navigation menu on the top of your page. And then we can talk about a few different plugins and things like that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing we're going to do is go over here to Pages on the right hand or the left hand side, and I'm going to open it up on a new tab. Now this is a list of all the pages on your website. Right now it's just the home page. If you want to add a new page, it's really, really easy. So I'm going to show you guys all the way through the process right now. To add a page, you're going to click on Add New. So now you just have to add a title. And if you guys remember over here, I titled this one Home for Home Page. So you're adding that title right now. So let's just call this the About page. We'll just call it About, just like that. Close out of that tab. Okay, so now all we have to do is go over here and change one setting. We go to Template, change it from default to Elementor Full Width. We're basically saying that I want this page that I just built to use Elementor, anything I put in Elementor, as the full width of the screen. So all of this should show whatever I put into Elementor. Otherwise, the Elementor wouldn't be the full thing. It might be kind of like a little box section or whatever, and so it'll look weird. That's the only thing we change, and then we click on Publish and Publish again. Boom, done. You now have a page added to your website, and it's called the About page. So if I close out of this tab, and I go back to Pages, now I've got the Home page and an About page. Now granted, the About page is empty, it's blank. So if I click on Edit and open it up on a new tab, you'll see a button right here that says Edit with Elementor. So now all you have to do is click on Edit with Elementor, and it's going to open it up. All right, and just like that, now that we clicked on Edit with Elementor, it's going to open us into Elementor. It's a blank page. So you just added one, and now you have to create a new page, which is what I had to do when I created your home page. Just like this. So I added all of this, obviously. So we're going to close out. So this is what it looked like before I added all of this stuff into the website. Now, I'm not saying you have to build an entire page from scratch. That's not what you have to do. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. You can go over here to the gray folder icon. This is what happens when there's no sections here. I could click on the plus button and click plus right here, 1, and now you'll see that, oh, there's a blank section with a blank column in it. And then I could add a widget to it like this, and now here's my widget, right? Because you guys are familiar with this stuff. We'll close out and delete that. Well, this is how you add a new one. You can add multiple columns like this, but it's blank, or you could click on this gray folder icon and open up Elementor's template library, where you have a bunch of template pages. And so you could scroll through all these different pages, and you could use some of these as inspiration, or you can literally import the entire page in here. So let's just take one, for instance. We'll take, I don't know, let's just take this one. You click on Insert, and it's going to ask if you can connect your Elementor library. And then you just create an account or sign in with your Google right here. And then you'll be able to insert that entire page here. And then the entire page is going to display right here. And then all you have to do is the same thing that you did when you were editing my website. You just switch out your images, your text, your colors, and all of that. So that can save you a lot of time. All right, so now when you're done making the changes here, let me just add something here real quick. We'll just do this. Minimum height, add it. And we'll say, let me put a picture here. And we'll put some text. That's it. About page. And we'll say that it's going to be white and really big. And I'm going to center it because I'm OCD like that. Okay, perfect. So we've got about page. And then let me just put a overlay. Let's go to background overlay. You guys don't have to do this. I'm just giving you guys an example. And we'll change it to black. Here we go. So we've got the about page update. Okay, so I just showed you guys how to add a page and then how to create the content that goes onto the page. So now I'm going to close out of Elementor. So again, if I go to pages and open it up on a new tab from my dashboard, I've got two pages on my site. I've got the home page and the about page. So now how do I get the about page to display when I click on the about button in my navigation menu? Well, what we're going to do is go over to the appearance tab and click on customize. And then that about me, instead of taking them to this section right here, and then also you can have the button linked to the same place I'm about to do. So now we can actually set that up to take them to the page, that about me page. So the way we would do that is we go over to menus, primary menu, and you'll see that we have this menu here for about me. Instead of taking them to the hashtag about, which takes them to that anchor that's down here, I'm actually going to remove this one, add an item, and just add my about page, which is under the pages tab right here. So here's about. And then now it's on my link and it's live. So I'm just going to drag it up to the top, just like this. Perfect. Okay, so we've got home, about, services, and testimonials. So I'm going to go ahead and click on publish to save my work. And now when they click on the about button, it takes them to a completely different page, the about page, just like that. So that's how you add different pages to your website. So now instead of a services anchor that takes them to the home page, what instead it'll do is it will take them to a services page. And so you could create a services page, and then you can create a testimonials page and a contact page and all of that. And so that's how you have multiple pages on one website. And so now we can do the same thing with this about button here. The same thing that we just did to that about button, we can actually do to our website as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my website on this tab and then click on Edit with Elementor. We can scroll on down, and now that we know how to create multiple pages, you can see the capabilities that we have here, because you don't have to have all of the pages on your website listed out in that navigation menu up here. You could have 30 pages on your website and then only have 6 pages appearing up here. You know, home, about, services, testimonial, blah, 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 blah. And then when they come to the home page and they've got all of these different services, you could create one extra page for keyword strategy where you have all of your information about what you do, how you do it, you know, how much it costs, the pricing, everything about keyword strategy. And then maybe your technical site audit is a whole other page. And then the on and off page optimization is another page for a different service. And these are pages that you can only get to by clicking on these icons. And so what you can do is you can edit this icon box right here, and you'll see link right here. It's really easy. All you have to do is click right here, and you could search all the pages on your website just by typing in the name. And you'll see that about shows up, and it's a page. I can click on it, and it's automatically going to enter in my link. Easy peasy. Then I click on update to save my work. And now if I preview my changes to open up my site on a new tab and scroll on down, if I were to click on this icon right here, it takes me to a different page. And so instead of, I'm just using the about page as an example, but now you guys can see that you could have 5 additional pages right here, where you could have an individual page for each service, and then each time you click on the icon, it takes you to that service page. And then on that service page, you could even add a calendar widget so that someone could book an appointment with you right away on your site. Or you could even enter in that WooCommerce plugin that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and you could build an e-commerce store inside of your website. And then you could have a separate page that you create where you have all of the products, and then you can, do that as well. So I wanted to show you guys that you have a ton of capability with the site that I just gave you. Right now I gave you a home page, and that's a great starting point. From there you can add pages, you can add plugins, a whole bunch of different functionality. You can do everything you want to here. And again, if you wanted to add plugins, you just go over here to the left-hand side and then click on Add New right here. And this is kind of like the app store for your website. Some of them you might have to pay for, some of them are going to be free, but you can go over here to the search bar and you can look for whatever you want. You can look for preloaders, you can look for calendar widgets and things like that. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard, and let's go ahead and take one last look of the website that we just built. So I'm going to go up to the top left corner one more time and open it up on a new tab. So again, this is the website that you guys have ready to go at your fingertips. I hope you guys were able to enter in all of the images that you guys wanted here. The About section is nice and big, so you can put a lot of content here with the services that you have listed out with these cool icons that, if you guys remember, you can turn into their own pages. And then we've got the testimonials here, which you guys can completely import your own templates, or excuse me, your own testimonials. And then we have the call to action as well as the contact section as well.
If you haven't claimed your free domain name and discounted hosting plan for your site yet, what are you waiting for? Click on the link in the top left corner and get that discounted plan today. And if you're hungry for more tips and tricks on how you can make some money with your website, check out this video right up here in the top right corner. I'll see you guys there.